call this meeting to order. Dr. Daniels, come take your seat, please.
Wow.
Okay, let's call roll. Ms. Schultz, Dr. Kirk.
Here.
Dr. Daniels.
Here.
Ms. Grant. Here. And the chair's here. Okay, let's have a moment of silence. Okay. Allison, you want to come up and do the flag salute for us? She's 12 years old from Townsend, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. Just tell us about yourself.
So, first of all, I'm just winging it, so if I make any mistakes, I'm sorry.
She said I'm just winging it.
Okay.
I am too.
I have been in the Townsend leadership team for the past 2 years, and I have been involved in honor choir, Whiz Kids, and speech and debate. My third subject is English and reading. I have grown a lot. In a reader way, I actually repeated a grade. I repeated second, but this isn't on here. But I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Being honest.
Okay, tell us about being an artist.
I am very gifted. I love drawing. It has been my favorite hobby.
Did you win an award?
Yes, I have been in a competition. Sadly, I did not win. And then also reading. I love the Warrior Cat series. So good.
Me too. Good for you, honey. I read all those.
I love it so much.
Okay, now tell us about
Yes.
coming from a
Okay.
family of educators.
My mom is a math teacher and she works at the tech center. She's very good at math. A little too good, if you ask me. I have, yeah, she does help me way too much. Little too much. And I have 2 sisters. I have 1 stepsister. I have 2 younger brothers. And
Where'd they go to school?
I actually don't really know.
Look right here,
DCH.
Dale City High School.
Oh. Oops. My favorite teacher is, she's not here, sadly. Her name is Coach Smith. She is the one leading leadership, and I don't want to say it, but I love her so much. She's really nice. My other favorite teacher would be Miss Allen. She was my math teacher last year. Oh, I love her so much.
Okay, who's here with you tonight?
My mom and Miss Dunn. And Miss Dunn is the principal.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you scared me.
Who's that?
Miss McNeely?
Okay.
That's good job, dear. Excellent. Excellent. Please speak loudly. Good night. Okay, speak loudly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Good job. Good job.
Everybody
job
likes
here.
modifiers.
I think you do a great job. Good job ahead.
Okay, item 2, I need a motion to approve items A through E on the consent agenda unless someone would like to pull an item off.
I would like to pull item C, I think. Number C and then, or I'm sorry, E, 6.
Number 6, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2E6.
6.
Thank you, Dr. Cobb.
Okay, so do we need a
So,
motion?
yeah, yeah, because you moved to X.
So I make a motion to approve everything but 2E6 on the consent agenda.
Second?
Okay, let's vote. Okay, item 3, recognitions. We
We
should
need to go back.
to
We need to
two.
go back to
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Go ahead, you have the floor.
Oh, yay, Shelley has the floor. Okay. So, Ms. Bryant, I just have some questions about, the travel.
No, you don't have to. You don't
Sorry, I
have to.
just didn't know if we need to check you in on the roll call of being present.
Oh,
So you made a
present,
motion,
I'm
but-
here. I'm late.
It's
Haven't
recorded.
been
It'll be
home from
recorded in the
work yet.
minutes.
I
You should drive.
apologize.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
So, can you help us understand a little bit more about what this is and why it's
Yeah.
needed?
Yeah, for sure. Our mental health specialists need a little bit different training than a typical educator, just because they are licensed professionals, whether that's licensed professional counselor, licensed marriage and family therapist, or a licensed social worker. And so versus just sending them to yearly conferences where they learn a little bit, we want to make sure that they have true training in the craft that they're bringing to their therapeutic techniques. And so, over time, we have done TBRI, trust-based relational intervention, and we did a week where they learned those tools and they brought those back to use within sessions, within educational things. EMDR is just another technique as well that the therapist can use when they're doing one-on-one counseling sessions. A lot of what EMDR is focused on kiddos with high need trauma. And so it really helps kind of retrack the brain a little bit and give them some tools to where they're not focusing on their trauma. And so it's just techniques that they can use. There's a lot of school-based therapists that have gone to EMDR training. My mental health specialists have talked to a lot of other therapists in other districts as well, and just to see the benefits of how it's been used in just even a school setting, and also some of the information that they're kind of tasked when they go is to bring back to add in the educational piece for our family nights as well. So.
Okay. Do you feel like this is something that Middle needs to be doing, or is this something, you mentioned the word high need trauma, and I have some concerns about our school district providing services for high need trauma. I feel like that is something that needs to be dealt with outside of the school. There are lots of therapists out there that are available to do EMDR, and so I'm just, does this stretch our counselors thin? I'd like to hear a little bit more about one-on-one counseling sessions during the school, like.
Like what the process is and things like
Yeah.
that. So with our mental health specialist, one of the things that they do is sometimes therapy. And so with that, they go through a referral process where either the school counselor has identified, the principal has identified a kiddo that might benefit from one of our mental health specialists. A lot of times it's because they can get in sooner. And so We try to keep those sessions between 6 to 8 weeks. If it's going to be something longer than that, we do then transition them out to more of a long-term care, whether that's mental youth and family, something like that, so that they can see more students. But that is one of their roles, is to do counseling. They do intake with the family. They get parental consent before they even start seeing the students. And then see the students. Like I said, the goal is 6 to 8 weeks. Sometimes they'll do group counseling sessions. Again, they get permission for that assigned consent as well. And so it's just techniques that they use within the role of a school-based mental health specialist. And so, and a lot of the trauma really comes from, I would say percentage-wise, majority of the kiddos in our district have a high need trauma if we look at their ACE scores and things like that. And so if it is something that is outside of their scope of what they can do as a school-based therapist, then we do transition those out to FDIS, to Medill Youth and Family, a lot of our other community partners, if it's going to be long-term, so that they can, again, serve more students. So they're not just serving a handful of students all year long. We try and make sure that their breadth of who they service is very far-reaching.
So does Medill Youth and Family, do they do EMDR as well, or?
Some of their therapists have training in it. A lot of therapists. It's a tool in their toolbox. When I went through my LPC coursework, we had a whole class on EMDR, so we learned the basic techniques. And so there are some things I can use, but to actually be comfortable and doing it in the right way, it's just good to go get that more intensive training on how to do it appropriately. And again, this training that they're going to specifically is a lot of school-based therapists, and so they can kind of benefit off of each other. And the lady actually presenting this one, this is why one of the reasons we looked at the Dallas one, is because it is someone who's been a school-based therapist as well.
Anything else?
Sorry, I'm kind of monopolizing this over here. Do you really feel like this is something we should be providing?
I do. I think if we are going to have mental health specialists within our schools, I think equipping them with the tools that they need to be as successful as possible, and benefiting our kids the most, the more knowledge that they can have on what our kids are going through, I think makes them a better mental health specialist, which then makes them serve our kids in the best way that they can.
And they will be available to the entire district, will they not?
Yeah.
They'll be available to all our sites, everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that was the point of hiring new, is so that
That's
we could
exactly
service
More.
more and give our academic counselors.
100%.
So they're
Yeah.
focused on that.
And this would not be an appropriate training for any school counselor. This is something that to go to EMDR, TBRI, things like that, you have to be licensed through the state through one of those credentials, so that you practice as that clinician in that setting.
So they will not come under the special ed umbrella, they will come under just a counselor umbrella.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Just counseling. Yeah.
I'm struggling with the cost. This seemed like a pretty significant cost just for the registration. And so as I went through it and what little bit I know about EMDR, I know there is an end time to you do this for a certain number of weeks. And so I just trying to reconcile the cost and the benefit, and then also reconciling, is this a service that we should be providing? Because sometimes I think our schools step out into providing services that we shouldn't, because we see a need there. And so that's trying to reconcile all of that and here and do what's best, not only for our kiddos, our district, but also our parents. So I'm still just really struggling with that, but I do appreciate the extra information you provided. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Parents have the right to deny this. They don't have to
Yeah.
sign the
I
paper.
was gonna say, I appreciate the fact that we offer something like this, because we do have a lot of students in our district that are traumatized.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes they can't get that extra help, or the parent can't get them to a location to get this training. So having that offered at the school, I just say
They
thank
can't afford
Yeah.
it.
for even doing that and
Yeah,
better
thank you.
preparing them to be able to handle that type of
Yeah,
situation.
for
Because
sure.
we don't want the same type of situation we had a month ago or whatever, to where our people aren't properly prepared to handle different situations. So,
Right.
thank you.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll just add that I think it's important that when we see an opportunity to give our mental health professionals more tools to working with students, then we should take advantage of those opportunities. And you know, it's we do a lot of things that we didn't do for kids 10, 15 years ago, but they're coming to us with more acute needs than they did 10 or 15 years ago. And if we don't go above and beyond for them, then they're just not going to be successful.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't feel comfortable them using techniques like that if they hadn't gotten the
Got some
training that they
training,
need.
yeah.
And, you know, so again, versus sending them to a conference that would sometimes take that much, you know, registration cost for a conference where they're just going to get the knowledge versus this, they actually get that one-on-one training. And so it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable when they get that. And again, just focusing on one of those a year. Financially, it's not smart to send them to trainings once a month, but they do go to a lot of free trainings as well.
It's worth it because you can't put a cost on properly training
Yeah.
people and preparing them for students.
100%.
You
And
don't
that's
want
same with
anybody in
academic
front.
professional development, anything like that.
260.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say how, you know, to piggyback, how prevalent is this that they will encounter a student that need EMDR versus referrals? Like, is there a high volume of kiddos that has trauma, and then, you know, is the referral list, you know, a backlog list that they can't get on? So
Yeah. I mean, right now, Mid-Del Youth and Family, for example, is a 6-month wait list. And they are, and they're servicing our kids more now than they ever have. Thankful to you guys, we upped that contract a couple of years ago. And, but still we're at a 6-month wait list. My mental health specialists are going to go meet with them after Christmas just to see, is there some strategies that, like, okay, if we have 10 kids that are sitting on this referral that they could pull off and do a small group with, would that be beneficial? And so we're trying to kind of work alongside that to get our kiddos serviced as fast as possible. And then some of those we can't. It needs to be long-term care. So then again, looking at some of our partners that are willing to help support our kids, you know.
That is they outsource to another agency
They don't as much outsource. They just keep trying to hire as many
as they can to
as they
provide
can.
the need.
Mhm.
Okay.
Have we
Yeah.
reached out to Calm Waters?
They do. They come in our schools a lot. We partner with them a lot. I know just a month ago, they finished a small group that they did at one of our elementary schools. So we especially small groups more so. And then we do have some of our families that go to Calm Waters as part of their free program that they do.
So how does the attendees feel about going to this training? Do they feel like, oh, it's another thing that I have to learn?
No,
Or
they are
feel like,
so excited.
I want to do this so that I
Yes.
can be adequately prepared. Or like,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah, no, this is something that they have actually, since even when we first started talking about having mental health specialists, this is something that's come up multiple times. Just saying, hey, if this is ever anything we could do, this would be a game changer to make sure that we're prepared when we are meeting with kiddos that have struggled with trauma and traumatic and anxiety and all kinds of categories of things. They're so excited because this is one of the leading research-based techniques out there.
Okay, is everybody ready?
any other
Any questions?
I'm still wrestling with the idea of our school system providing that. I really just, from where I stand, I really just feel like we need to let that go outside the school. Because it is provided, Calm Waters provides free counseling. Sometimes I feel like we step in instead of having that be a parental thing that they decide to go and do. And we're stepping in, and at some point in time, I feel like we gotta draw the line and say, this is what we're going to provide. I know in some instances, it'll probably be really beneficial. But I really look at our resources and how far we're stretching these counselors and what we want them to learn. And I'm sorry, not counselors, mental health professionals,
Yeah.
specialists, I apologize.
Yeah.
How far are we stretching them? And if we're tying up doing TBRI and EMDR and all of these things, what
Well-
are we missing too? So,
Yeah, and I think to clarify, this is just a technique that they would use within what they're already doing. So it's not they're going to add another session in. This is just a tool as they're meeting with a kid, they realize, oh, this would be a really good technique I'll use today at this session. And so it's more of a technique to add, they're already seeing these kiddos.
It's
So
evaluatory.
that helps.
It's evaluatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna motion to vote on item 2, 6E.
A second. Well, or. Motion to approve.
Is it a motion to approve?
Yes. I'll second.
We're just gonna roll call. Ms. Schultz?
Oh, she has it on the thing.
Well, oh, okay. I didn't think it'd come up.
Mine's not too.
I think you can.
Okay. Are we at 3? Okay.
Okay, item 3, we have no recognitions. Move on to 4, we have no public participation. Item 4B, Dr. Cobb.
All right. All right, so, superintendent report for today, in case you missed it, Carl Albert won the state championship in football on Saturday. We'll have recognitions for that, we just already had the agenda posted by then, so we didn't want to put it on there presumptively.
There's still parties.
And they broke the record.
There's still parties.
They did break the record, they're the first school with 20 state championships in football,
Beat Ada. Beat Ada. Ada had 19
for a long time.
for a long time. The
I heard Coach
brothers.
Dunn's comments, and I didn't quite put it together, but
Yeah,
Yeah, that's huge. That's great.
that is, Cleveland Bailey Elementary was named Brain Bowl champions. I don't know if they're up to 20 of those yet, but
Get there, though.
They're working towards
They're
it.
working on it.
you gotta start somewhere.
Middle City High School had their hanging of the green ceremony last
So nice.
Monday. That
So
is
nice.
always
So nice.
fantastic ceremony. Congratulations to the Carl Albert Middle School Pom team for receiving first in jazz, hip hop, and team performance at DT Regionals in Broken Arrow, and they were also named grand champions. We'll have to bring them in for recognition as well.
This ball, that was so
Congratulations to Valentina Jimenez, a student at Soldier Creek Elementary, who was selected as an elementary all-stater for choir, and it's the first time, at least in recent memory, that we've had a student who earned that honor. So that's really impressive.
I love that shirt.
That
Tie you with the sunglasses. Yeah.
like on a cereal box or something.
That's nice.
National Signing Day was held last week, and we had several students who signed scholarship offers around the district. A couple of weeks ago, my student advisory board rolled up their sleeves and put together meals in a bag as part of their service project. Megan, do you remember how many we did? 80 something. All right, really impressive. That's all, and those are all donated items. We found out that turkey in a jar, pretty expensive. Turkey in a can is a thing, and it's a pretty expensive thing.
Turkey in a can.
Yep. We did. It's the little Walmart on Reno is about the only one place we could find it. I even tried Aldi, and I hate going through there. I know you. I know you hate going through there. They are not the sponsor of this program. Middell Technology Center had the privilege of hosting the Oklahoma State Board of Career and Technology Education board meeting in November. And I know that Becky and her team got to take them out to tinker and show them around our facilities. And it was also nice to have the opportunity to visit with the new state superintendent, Lyndall Fields, trying to get him back here for our legislative breakfast in January. We were texting back and forth over the weekend, which is, I'll just say, it's a nice change.
What a welcome change.
Welcome, James. Sure.
Unbelievable.
Sports Elementary, the week before that, had a state board member, Becky Carlson, come out and visit and read with students. teacher's classroom that she was reading in. They taught together in Edmond a while back. And then we got to give her a tour of the school and let her come and go around and visit with some other teachers. And that was really, really fun to just visit with her and then talk about what being on the state school board, what that experience has been like for her. For over 30 years, the men and women of the Commercial Derivative Aircraft Division at Tinker have been providing clothing to Mid-Del students through the Clothe the Children program. They provided a shopping trip at the Moore JCPenney for 30 Mid-Del students last Friday. The 29th Annual Midwest City Police Department Shop with a Cop benefited 48 Mid-Del students this weekend. Del City High School leadership and the NJROTC volunteered at the Oklahoma Children's Cancer Association Christmas party, which has become a yearly tradition for both groups. We have quite a few student groups performing in the community for the holidays. So if you see some kids singing, there's a really good chance that they're ours. Heartfelt thank you to all of our student group staff and volunteers and military families who represented Mid-Del in the Midwest City Veterans Day Parade. This was still during the shutdown, so it was really nice. There were a lot of people who could not participate that normally do, and so it was really good that we had so many of our groups and individuals fill in the gap there. I got to do a couple of media appearances recently, one on Channel 5 on their Oklahoma Chronicle panel. That's their Sunday morning show. They taped a couple of segments that were not aired that ended up on their YouTube channel as well. And then I also recorded a podcast with a couple of friends of mine who are former superintendents out on the East Coast on the podcast K-12 Ed Confidential.
Dr. Cobb, are you using residuals for all of this?
No, but you know, it's all going on my reel for some point post-retirement, some way down the road. Congratulations to coaches Mike Dunn and Cameron Couch from Carl Albert High School. Both were honored by the Oklahoma Secondary Schools Activities Association as part of an elite group of 26 coaches across the state recognized for excellence in their sport during the 2024-25 school year. And congratulations to Midwest City High School head baseball coach Landon Vodka on being named the OBCA West Rookie Coach of the Year for 2025.
Is that his real name?
Vodka? Yeah. Dale and I were talking about that during the run-through. And we are still safe, challenged, and holiday ready.
I noticed you, and I know maybe it'll come up later, but when you looked at Schwartz, was not Schwartz named the number one school?
Schwartz was named by U.S. News and World Report the #1 elementary school in the state.
That's exciting. That's huge. That's huge.
I will turn this over
Item 4C,
to our bond friends.
bond updates.
You can have the clicker if you want.
This gets going on.
All right advances and left goes back.
I'm sure that makes sense. But, well, good evening, members of the board. Dr. Cobb, we are so happy to be here with you again to share kind of where we are on Country Estates, Ridgecrest, and Cleveland Bailey Elementary. We've got some good things cooking. My name is Angie Clarkson. I'm with Larson Design Group. Been here to see you guys before. Got a couple of really important people here with me, Brian Farley and Brandon Davis is on the third row back. They've been heading the architectural and engineering effort on our end. So I want to be cognizant and respectful of your time. What I'm going to do is run through the really high-level priorities, big aspects of these projects that apply to all three schools, and kind of what the thinking and rationale was for how those things have kind of been put in order of priority. And then I'm going to pass it to Brian and let him show you how those aspects of the projects look on each of these sites, because I think you've probably been in these buildings. You know that as much as we're trying to approach this from a sense of increasing parity and equity across them, these buildings don't all have the same needs. So there is some variation. When we first got started, I'm realizing that we had a set budget, but we know there's all kinds of things that these buildings need. They've been around a while. They've been serving your kids for a long time. We sat down with your leadership team with Dr. Cobb, Dr. Broyles, Leslie Pope, Ian Wolf, and Jeff Horn was involved in those early conversations to kind of figure out what are those big five, what are those 5 things that absolutely have to happen at all 3 schools to make these safe and workable for your kids and your teachers for the coming decade or decades. First and foremost, you know, there are storm shelter additions going into each of them. I'll break that down in a little more detail in a second. But it became pretty apparent, this was not something we knew before the bond election, but all of these roofs need some major work. So Ridgecrest and Cleveland Bailey are being replaced entirely. Country Estates, portions of the roof had been replaced, so we're not going to break things that are working, but about 60-65% of that roof is going to be replaced. So that's being covered. The shelters are attached, so as part of that, all 3 schools are getting new fire alarm and are being sprinklered. We are taking out any window units that are in classrooms or the cafeteria are coming out. Those are being replaced with split systems with regular air conditioning, more on par with your newer schools. And while we're ripping up the ceiling, we're going to go ahead and replace all of the ceilings and lights through all 3 of these facilities. So those are some pretty major upgrades right off the top. When it comes to the shelter, we sat down really early with your educational leadership team and kind of talked through what spaces in these buildings really needed to be included in the classroom additions. And looking at what was already in place at all 3 schools, it became pretty apparent the music rooms needed to be replaced. One of the schools has got the music room in a double portable building. Every kid's got to go outside and up a switchback ramp in order to get to music. One of them is 2 really long, skinny rooms together, so it's really not an appropriate shape. And then the third one is actually an L-shaped music room. So we have an opportunity to fix that. We're moving the music room into the new shelter, and then evaluating what kind of special services needs there are at each of these schools. Tressa Wilson got involved in that conversation, and we broke down what the specialized special ed programs were at each school. So they're going to vary a little bit, but generally these shelters have got 1 music room, 2 special services or special ed classrooms with their own handicap accessible toilets, laundry facilities, things like that, a new staff toilet, and then also an IT closet that is up to Mid-Del's current standards in terms of size, really just to kind of plug a little bit of a functional hole in those buildings. So once we had gotten enough drawings put together that Willowbrook could get a good cost estimate and we felt comfortable moving forward past those non-negotiables, we started putting things kind of in order of priority. So generally we're going to freshen and brighten up corridors, provide consistent wayfinding, bring school mascots and colors into these spaces. You can see things are just a little dark and dingy. These buildings have done a lot of great things for your kids for a long time, but they're really ready for a refresh. And also to provide consistent opportunities in the corridors for displaying student work across all of your grades and all of your corridors. Toilet renovations are being kept kind of to a minimum. Some of these restrooms have already had some substantial work done to them. We're replacing a lot of flooring, some vanities and hand washing, replacing some partitions and things like that. You can see like we've got the worst case right there. I think several schools have got maybe 1 bathroom that is getting a whole lot of work. But if money's been invested in the bathrooms, we want to spend our money this time in the teaching spaces and not, rip things up that have been improved already. Each school's going to get all new room identification signage. That's a pretty small ticket item as far as dollars, but this is an opportunity to get consistent room numbering throughout the buildings. That's going to be a lot easier, certainly for your kids and your teachers, but also your district operations and maintenance staff, just for servicing and managing these buildings. That's something that I think is a good target. And then once we move into classrooms, we're getting new floors, new paint, ceilings and lights I mentioned, window shades, and again, the ceilings are going to come down. Marker boards and tack boards, if they're in good shape, we're going to leave them. But you can see like this example right here, those are coming down and will be replaced, and then all new cabinetry for student and teacher storage in the classrooms. The cafeterias, we're mainly kind of just freshening up the floor wall and ceilings, just brightening it up. Got some opportunities for some graphics and school colors in the cafeterias. And then renovating the stage and performance area for handicap accessibility. So right now, I don't think a single one of your stairs is accessible to wheeled traffic. So we're working on that. We're building steps up the front that can also be used as risers, and then adding a small elevator lift behind a door so that it doesn't have to be monitored at every single lunch, but to kind of address that. Lastly, once we get to the front office and staff support, we've put all of the dollars first to student spaces, but there are some targeted improvements in the front office that are really going to make things a lot easier on your staff. So streamlining and kind of cleaning up the nurses' office areas in all 3 of these front spaces, and also getting a better staff toilet. So minor renovation, but with a pretty high payoff.
But to be
I'm
clear,
sorry.
this restroom is one that's going to get.
That guy's getting fixed.
Okay, good. I know
So
that's the worst
we
case,
put
so-
Brandon helped
wanna
me
make
pull
sure
the
we heard
worst
that right
pictures.
there.
We want to show you.
'Cause I knew you
No,
said
no,
that
no.
it's gonna go to staff spaces, but I was like, well, wait.
The principal was like, let me show you this one.
Okay.
Right. No, we picked these.
Exception, not the rule,
Yes,
so,
we picked
yeah.
these pictures for great fun. And then once we get into the PE spaces, we are kind of building in alternates. We want to make sure that we had a really big to-do list. Once we got through those big 5, we had a great meeting in one of the conference rooms upstairs where we had a Post-it with 25 different things that really needed to happen in all those buildings, but we put them in order of priority. We've worked on that list, and when we got lower down the list, we loaded those up as add alternates, mainly to give, your executive leadership team more flexibility. So far, so good. We're feeling really good about what we're going to be able to get you for your money on these jobs, and I think as we start to look at these sites specifically, you'll see that.
So if I do redoing the ceiling and the lighting, is that gonna open it up more?
We can't raise it because the way that the roof works, if you were to slice the building this way, it's lowest in the hallway.
Okay, so there's not
That's
much
apparently
room
the
beyond
way
that.
they used to do stuff. So
my
that's
question.
unfortunate. It's not going to get higher, but the grid will be white. The tile will be smoother, so it will be much more light reflective, and all of the lighting will be LED. We've got a couple of pictures we'll show you of some renderings of these corridors when we get to the end, just a little bit of eye candy, just a kind of a teaser, but really just trying to lighten and brighten things up.
That was the point of my
The
question.
2 schools at Country Estates and Cleveland Bailey have got terrazzo floors, and while they might not be the colors that we would choose now, you can't buy a better floor. And so what we're going to do is get all of the yellow and the beige and the brown cleaned up. We're going to brighten that up, and then we've kind of got some very targeted locations for big kind of super graphics and getting school colors on the walls and things like that. We're just trying to kind of increase the light reflectivity. New flooring will have to go into Ridgecrest. That floor is not terrazzo. It's not in great shape, so that's definitely going to have to go.
So you answered my questions. I was wondering about paint, brightening. I was wondering how much space you had going up.
Right.
So yeah, it looks like it's gonna brighten up a lot just
And
with
I-
some of those.
And I think a lot of what we got from talking with all 3 of your principals, and we talked to them separately. It's not like we ganged up with them on in a separate, in one room together. All 3 of them, what they really wanted to see was treating the school a little bit more like a lighter, brighter kind of gallery to display student activities. So when you get to corridor intersections, that's where we're putting big logos, big school color. It kind of gives you a waypoint. I'm turning right when I get to the Roadrunner. To kind of give these, especially the little bitty ones, kind of a sense of where in the heck they are.
Yeah, 'cause I
in
was
a
at
larger
a hotel
space.
the other day, and
Yes.
it was not
You get
broken
lost.
up, and I had no idea where the elevator was every time. I
Yeah.
opened it up.
No, for sure.
My wife is an interior designer, so she teaches me those tricks.
Yeah, so you
break
do.
it up so that you kind of know where you are. So
Yeah, but I think especially with these littles, I think your teachers and your principals want to really show off for the kids what they're doing, their progress. And so having consistent opportunities for showcasing student work through the building and just lightening and brightening it and almost treating it a little bit like a gallery for these kids. And it'll age well.
We're all happy with it.
Exactly. So yeah, they're excited.
Low and
But just not yellow and not brown and not so we're gonna kind of jack up the light reflectance for sure. All right. So just kind of moving to Country Estates. I'm gonna pass this to Brian.
So the first site that we're gonna talk about is Country Estates Elementary. This is the one that we have bid, and I believe GMP is being presented to you later tonight. The major component of all of these, like I said, is the storm shelter. And so in this one, because the floor plan of this one was arranged a little differently than the other 2 schools, there wasn't an opportunity really to put this at the end of an existing hall and extend that hall out. So what we did is replace some exterior doors that went out to the playground. We added another hallway that's not part of the shelter that leads to the shelter itself. It is displacing just some paved playground areas that we are going to replace in kind after construction is done, and provide some new basketball goals and things out there. There's a pretty nice, on the left-hand side, there's a pretty nice existing playground, and we're doing everything we can to keep that in place. This site does have several portable buildings that can remain during construction, and I don't think it's been determined 100% if they're going to go away or not. They do house a lot of Boys and Girls Club activities. Part of the renovation we're doing is turning some old locker rooms kind of more into multi-purpose spaces that they will have a better dedicated space inside the building. So maybe over time, you may find that you don't necessarily need But right now, it provides a good opportunity for flexibility during construction. We'd love to do all of this during the summer break and not have to get in anybody's way, but that is not going to be possible. So having a place to move a grade level out gives us the opportunity to be able to do some of that work during the school year and make it a long time. So.
You mentioned a playground equipment, you would do so in kind. Does that mean at your expense?
Oh, no.
Part of the project.
No, in kind being we're replacing the basketball court with another
I was
basketball
hoping you would
court.
say at your expense.
Well,
I was hoping.
He's not that kind.
It's a
I had
Christmas
the same
miracle.
thought.
Dr. Davis
Thought.
said not that kind.
So I'm looking at the
Thought. I just
the
didn't-
the addition, the classroom addition there, going over the walking track as well, because that's
oh no, the red line, that's just a leader line.
oh, okay, then even better.
Just the white portion there. So yeah, we're just building on like to the
Oh, you
west
know
of
what?
that existing
I think
shed.
there's
Okay.
a red dot
Oh, was there
on. Is there a red dot on
Here's a
it?
pointer.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that.
Angie, I was expecting you to do that.
Our screens went off too. Our screens went
I
off.
was reading it wrong. That's my bad.
well, I
So
can't
you need
figure
the
out how
walking
to
track.
It's
word
okay.
it. Okay.
We figured it out.
All right.
My bad.
But yeah, like I said, we had originally intended to put it at the end of the corridor, just to extend the corridor out. But with the proximity, the lower grades are on the other end of the school. We tried to move it more centrally, and then again preserve that nice playground that we had there. Yeah. I don't know yet.
It's always one of the two.
That's
Is
one
the,
of the
so is
two.
the entryway of this school getting
Right now, the plans we have for the entryway, there's an existing canopy, a metal canopy. We are replacing some of the metal on it and reconditioning it and providing some new signage. But other than that, there's not a tremendous amount of exterior work that'll be a significant change. I mean, there's some repairs and improvements. And like Angie pointed out, you're getting rid of all the window units, so you'll have a condensing unit that's sitting outside of each classroom, and we're building masonry screen walls for those, kind of like Epperly and some of your other sites to screen a lot of that stuff.
Kind of white squares.
Okay, so that didn't make, so did that make it, it was low on the list?
Because the front
Was that
in
low
that
on the
school
list?
needs some help.
Because that was one of our priorities when we first wanted to get the,
You know, our buildings to be,
yeah, we wanted to have curb appeal, so when you walk in, you know, it was a nice,
it doesn't look like 1953.
so was that just not, was it on the list, but it just didn't make it to the?
That was lower on the list minus cleaning things up. But again, it's like any other project, we're gonna get to the end and we're gonna get a little further along, and as we're able to release contingency, depending on how things are going, we can certainly look at that. I think that, Ridgecrest in particular has a slightly different situation where the way that that building is sited, kids can get on the roof, and so we were looking for some ways to, it's not on, not a few of it on here, but something that happens to be more decorative, but it was really to solve a functional problem, which was do not let people on the roof. And I think that when it came to one of our page turns, everybody in the room was kind of going, whoa, why can't we do that everywhere? Maybe we can, we just can't pull the trigger on that yet, because we've got to make sure that we've hit all these other targets first. But, I am feeling like a little bit of a psychic, because I did say that the curb appeal would come up. No, we really just, there are so many things these buildings need, and I know that you know that, you've been in these buildings.
Yeah, so when we had our original, just to give you background, I know you have to follow the needs and wants of the staff, you have to prioritize, but our original, when we looked at this, we said our schools need a makeover. Some of them look really old, and we want it to be inviting for the public when they come into the school. And I understand, you just said the roofs were having to be replaced, and those are real tactical things you have to have. But just keep in mind, if we do get a chance to, you know, have some contingencies, you know, curb appeal means a lot, and we really want it to be inviting for families and kids when they come into the building to have a nice place to come in.
Certainly.
So,
Is the insurance gonna cover any of the roof?
so if there's any
more
i-
age than
so if there's-
damage.
So if there's any ideas of like, oh, if we added a fresh coat of paint, or hey, if, like you said, you had the one
Paint
functional
goes a long
piece that
way.
actually made
Yeah.
a big difference, any of those type of things.
moving along, next in the schedule is Ridgecrest Elementary. This is one where we were able to just extend, add the shelter to the end of an existing corridor, and it just so happened that that was the location where more of the younger kids were and some of the existing SPED programs were, so that worked out really well for us planning wise. We are going to have to get rid of one portable building prior to construction. And we have been told in discussion with the principal and with Ian that eventually all the portable buildings at this site will be able to be moved. Once we have the shelter built and the music program can relocate, they won't really have a need for that anymore. And the other one that's for the ISR, and it's only being half used, it's a double portable. It's going to remain again to give the flexibility to move some kids around if we need to accommodate a construction schedule. This one has, instead of 2 special ed rooms, it has like a flex classroom that can be utilized for, a lot of like breakout services or tutoring. It's going to be outfitted just like a standard classroom. There's just really not 100% identified what the program is going to be in there yet. So, yeah, this is one we are completing the drawings right now, and it will be advertising to bid early in January. So, like Angie said, this is the one. If you're familiar, there's kind of where the star of the front entry is there. This one has a lot of changes in elevation inside the school, where we've had to add the lifts to try to tackle that problem. There's a hill that kind of runs up to the front of the building, and I've been told that they found a lot of things. One of our engineers went up to the site and they found a can of gas and a box full of magazines that people were up burning stuff on the roof. They said they found mattresses, a shopping cart. So we have.
Shopping cart up on the roof?
You got me. Yeah, that was what the principal was saying. And so we've, at this school, we have in there, and again, it is, it's being bid as an alternate, but there is a perforated metal screen wall that will cut off access from that high spot on the ground where they're able to jump on top of the can and clean it up there. That's something that we can look to incorporate perhaps at all 3 of the schools. Cleveland Bailey being the next one, we can certainly try to use that as kind of a unifying design element to help clean these things up.
No, can you explain that again? There's a hill that allows people to jump from the hill onto the roof.
On an awning and up.
It's almost like a ramp going up the side of the building.
Yeah.
Oh, what side is that?
It's right on the front.
Right in the front, like
On the right side of the front entry.
Yeah, on the right side of where that star is. If you get like up close to the building, it's only about like 4 feet up. You can pull yourself up there, and then apparently you can pull up a shopping cart too if you'd
Yeah.
like.
That's where they store their stuff,
Yeah.
where they sleep.
Okay.
I feel like that would be not a comfortable sleep in the middle of summer.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
They've got mattresses.
Got a mattress
Yeah.
And I think
Sleeping
this
under the
one's only
stars.
getting one special ed, dedicated special ed in the shelter, and that's
Yep.
mainly because the other kind of specialized program in the school is the behavioral program. They're already located right across from the front office. They like where they are. It's working. That space is going to get the same refresh that any other classroom would get, but moving them out and away from the front office and from the resident staff, the specialized staff, which is really not something they're interested in.
so square footage wise from this site to Cleveland Bailey, is the square footage the same?
For the shelters, they're within just a couple hundred square feet, and again, they're all 3 classrooms, a music plus 2 more, plus a staff toilet, IT closet, and that chunk of corridor space. There's a little bit of variation, but the capacity for all of them is ranging between 480 and 490. So it's real close.
Within I think 5% of each other as far as
And based on what was given to us as far as enrollment and all-in staff, including janitorial and kitchen and then incidental visitors, we were targeting between 325 and 350 per shelter. So we are definitely exceeding that without jumping to a level over 500 where you start having to have a whole room of rooms, for example. That wouldn't really help the teachers functionally. They need the bathrooms where the grade level classrooms are. So this worked out
Yes, currently it is covered, but yeah, but everybody does have to go outside. Yeah.
It's attached.
Correct.
So, does this one, is Ridgecrest set up the same way the initial school was that you showed us? It would be small white boxes near the air conditioning units?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
what about the inside, like across from the media center? Is that on the same, air conditioning unit as?
No. Each classroom will have its own individual system. And so each one will have a condensing unit that sits outside. At Ridgecrest and more so at Cleveland Bailey, there's already a lot of classrooms that have been retrofit in that fashion. So we
I was
have,
like, where's their air?
yeah. So in all the classrooms where we have the window units in the base bid, we are replacing that. And so there'll be individual control of each of those classrooms, and then there is an alternate provided to replace the new split systems that sometimes are 20 years old already. So it's a great opportunity to kind of bring all the classroom HVAC up to a current standard, and as far as Country Estates goes, we were able to take that alternate, so each classroom will have a new heater and a new condensing unit. So the third and final is Cleveland Bailey. This one is planned to bid quite a bit later, but due to the working with the construction manager and trying to figure out their schedule, we are bidding an early site and structural package for this that will bid at the same time as Ridgecrest. And so that will provide them the opportunity to get a jump on the shelter. The idea being, once the shelter is done, then they will be able to relocate some of the programs into the shelter, because this site has no portables and thus really no flex space. They're already pretty full. So that's just one thing that we've done to try to make sure that we are hitting the same end date on all of these projects, is getting a little early package for this. This is also one, Ridgecrest is the same way. There's been some considerable issues with existing sewer, and I know nobody likes to spend dollars on a sewer, but we have provided alternates to replace a significant amount of the existing. It's the old clay pipe sewer. In some cases, it's been in the ground for 70 years, perhaps. We don't know. But this is definitely one. This was the one where that worst case bathroom that you saw is at this facility, and they've had a lot of problems. They have replaced some of that over time. That's helped the issue, but we're hoping to really solve it by being able to replace those lines.
Better replace it before summer.
Well,
No, it's too late.
the principal, she'll tell you some horror stories. We've heard those. So, now I think there's some more fun slides.
Say, just to kind of wrap up a little bit, I've got one slide for each school just to kind of show you. I know we talked about kind of lighting and brightening these things up.
That's a comment.
Yeah, so we've got Comets, we've got Road Runners, and I think we've got Bulldogs. So again, generally classrooms, bringing in a new ceiling, LED lighting in all those spaces, getting those awful window units out, that I think is something that was a really high wish list item for a lot of the teachers, just because of the noise, and there's a lot of things about that are really compromise the learning environment. Cafeterias, I think a couple of them are getting new floors. If they've got terrazzo, we're keeping the terrazzo. We're just lightening and brightening everything else up. And then looking for opportunities to incorporate school colors. You can see a little further down there, it says Golden Galaxy. That's at a major corridor intersection, and that's just, again, kind of a waypoint. That's where you send your class down the hall and you tell them to turn left at the Galaxy. And again, just this general fix up and clean up of classrooms, getting the teacher and student storage more on par with what Townsend's getting, more on par with what Soldier Creek and Midwest City have. We can't make the classrooms larger, we can't make the corridors wider or higher, but we can do an awful lot to make it feel a lot better. Kind of similar situation here, looking at our Road Runners, got a lot of bright red. We're replacing a good number of interior doors. We're looking for ways, any place that we can find a particular operations and maintenance issue that we can tackle as part of this. We're certainly doing that, and again, loading this up with alternates to give you guys as many choices as possible. And then there's Cleveland Bailey, which again is following a little bit behind, but a lot of the similar features. That was something that I think was a high value for both Ian Wolf, for Dr. Cobb, Dr. Broyles, and certainly Leslie Pope was looking for ways that we can address certainly some of these parity issues. But as we have these old, aging buildings, it's like, let's give it a refresh and keep it from. We want things that aren't going to ugly out. We want to, really get the best use out of your dollar and your time. That's it. Any other questions?
It's great.
No, that's great, thank you.
We're really excited to see this keep moving.
Wait to see the finished product.
This is exciting. This is exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
President Standridge, members of the board, Dr. Cobb. I want to give you an update here on projects underway and kind of let you know what's going on here. This is Barnes Elementary. You can see now we're just almost through with brick there. They've been running the electrical power for permanent power to the building. They're going to try to tie that in on Saturday. The roofing is just right at complete. They're sheet rocking on the inside and moving on very well here on this project. Epperly Heights is the one that's running the farthest back, but we had a lot more to do there. But they are working on getting the decking picture there in the center. You can see that they're getting that set up and ready to pour concrete for the roof deck toward the end of this week. They're framing walls on the interior and doing a little bit of mechanical electrical rough in there. They've already poured the driveway out. There's quite a bit there that's been done on site. Tinker, they've got all the sheetrock and everything done. They've got the roof they've been working on. They're just about finished, complete with the roof. It's moving on. They're fixing to start brick there. I believe it is the end of this week. They'll be starting brick. As soon as they finish brick at Barnes, they move directly to Tinker. On Townsend, all the dirt work is basically complete as far as the building pads are concerned, and there the picture on the right is the aggregate pier where they've been drilling piers in the ground with aggregate that they pound into the ground that go underneath the footings, and we are trying to get rebar on the job so we can start footings next Monday. So that is moving along very well also. Carl Albert Middle, this is the new classroom addition there. The block work is complete on the first floor and the tall walls on the outside, of course. They're getting ready to put the decking down and pour the second floor there. I think the next slide is, the Sky Bridge. They've got the roof on that. They're doing some wall board on the outside. They poured the slab running down the interior of it and moving on that. This is Dale City Middle School, the kitchen cafeteria addition. We finally gotten to a point to where we should be pouring a slab there toward the end of this week. So we had run into quite a bit of issues with dirt and just foundations were just like crazy trying to get, with not to mention the rain, but then we ran into unsuitable soils here and have finally gotten up to a point and get a slab poured. I think you're going to see a major difference there just very shortly. Next picture here is all the media center. They're in there. They've got all the structural steel erected and inspected, and they're doing all the framing and fixing to start putting the panels on the exterior, the sheathing on the exterior, and getting it dried in exterior. This is Midwest City Middle School. There's just so much going on here. It has just boomed. There's brickwork is about 90% complete. They're just fixing to get started on roofing. On this one, they're doing a lot of interior metal studs and everything. The kitchen area has all the block work has been laid, and there's just a whole lot of stuff going on here on this site. Carl Albert High School, this is another one that is just moving very well. The exterior of the building is just almost complete as far as the brickwork and the windows and the panels there around the windows that you see. The roofing is just, they're doing some touch-up work there on the roofing. They're sheetrocking on the interior. They've started drywall finish on the second floor, and we'll be starting painting up there, moving down to the first floor with their drywall finish. That's both in the storm shelter and in the area that is the regular construction. Midwest City High School Fine Arts, the concrete part of it there you see on the right frame is the storm shelter. That roof has been completed. On top of that, we've completed the structural steel around the exterior of that. I call it the surrounding area because the structural steel kind of wraps around the storm shelter. They're fixing to start metal deck on top of that. They've started sheetrock on the interior of the storm shelter, and that project also is moving very well. This is just a list of some of the projects that have completed and the dates there, and also these projects that I just went through and their completion projections, and some of the projects that we've got upcoming there on the bottom. Do you have any questions?
Seems very exciting.
It is. There's a lot going on, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
It keeps you busy. You got to walk through.
It does. Okay.
Appreciate the work.
Now, why does that say delivery date May 2025? But that's not this phase you just shared with us.
Sorry.
Everything that's shown in the green has been completed. So the action items are done, and the delivery date says where the PACs and the video boards at the state, they're done.
Okay.
Yeah, everything in white is still yet to be
Ongoing.
ongoing.
Thank you.
Do you think they're all still on track? So like going to be in January for sure, those types of things?
Yes.
She said,
Yes. Yes. No, they're-
Yes.
they are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christine.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 5, discussion and possible action regarding the Visionary Pathway Schools Charter School application. Dr. Cobb.
Yeah, I sent you all my evaluation of their application over the weekend for this charter school proposal. And just, I'll give you the summary of it. I feel like it's a concept of a plan. I don't feel like they've really figured out where all the, they know what grants they're going to apply for, but they don't have their funding. And there are some other significant issues I have with their plan. But the biggest thing is that we have to ask ourselves, do we want to take on responsibility of sponsoring a charter school when we don't have any role in governance of them? And so I have no problem evaluating whether it's a good plan or not. But my recommendation to you is going to be that you vote to not approve authorization of Visionary Pathway Schools. That would be my recommendation.
So they,
He made a recommendation to us, and we need to go on that.
Yeah, there's not a motion yet.
Is there-
so.
okay.
move to
Yeah, I
Second.
move to accept Dr. Tom's recommendation.
should they move?
Don't say approve.
No,
Yeah, you would, yeah,
you can't say approve.
yeah, I guess what I'm asking for is a motion
To accept.
to deny the Visionary Pathway Schools application.
Right.
And now we can say move to approve, right?
Yeah.
Move to approve a motion to deny Visionary Pathways Schools charter application.
Second. So question, so they submitted a plan, but they want our approval to actually sponsor.
Right, and so in the state of Oklahoma, a charter school applicant has to apply with a local school district first. And if that is denied, they can resubmit their application to that local school district, or they can apply for sponsorship to the statewide charter school board. And so I don't know what they will do if we don't approve them, but honestly, that's not. I don't think that needs to be our concern either.
Did we give them feedback on
Yeah.
why we didn't approve?
Yes.
And if they came back and said, hey, we took all your recommendations and we've done this and that, can they reapply?
They can reapply, and again, I still, even if it was a great application, this one in particular, they want to do a lot of things that really sound like what our career tech already does. And they kind of have space identified where they want to do that. They want to partner with OSU OKC, which then makes me, and you saw in my comments to them, and I'll send this certified mail after the board meeting. If they're going to be working alongside OSU OKC anyway, why didn't they ask OSU OKC to be the sponsoring organization as opposed to us? That would have made more sense. But again, that's neither here nor there. They can submit as many times, even if they have a great application. We don't have to accept it if we decide that we don't want to be in the business of sponsoring a charter school.
Has Mendo
They
ever
do
sponsored a
some
charter school?
No.
You sponsor them and they're yours.
I'm just wondering if we've ever done it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually,
At
you
Rose
know,
State College?
Rose State College has sponsored several, but they've also ended some of the sponsorships
Right.
because of shenanigans.
Yeah, Rose State, that's right.
I mean,
I'm sure it
there's
says
a lot
that.
of holes in that application.
I agree.
A lot of holes.
On Infinity.
We're on YouTube. It's my public-facing word.
It will come up. Oh, I didn't, did we vote?
Oh,
Did I vote?
You might have voted already.
We have not.
Oh, I
Did
made,
you bring it up already?
We're voting to not approve it, right?
Correct.
Not to accept the,
You're in agreement with that.
this.
Okay, item 6, vote to approve or not approve revision of policy B17. Dr. Cobb.
Yeah, so this item, and again, you can see from the board letter that is attached to it, the district health coordinator position has evolved quite a bit over the years. During COVID, during the beginning of that, 2020, 2021 especially, that basically was a cabinet position that was not a cabinet position because Aaron Harry, who was here at that time, was at nearly every cabinet meeting that we had because there were just so many updates to give. The state has given us so many new requirements regarding CPR training, AED maintenance and training, and we had a whole list this morning at cabinet that we brainstormed as well. But it's basically, this is somebody who's responsible for training and keeping records of training for every employee in the district when it comes to quite a few requirements from the legislature. Not to mention the fact that when it was a coordinator position, we didn't even have nurses in every school, so there's direct supervision of more employees than ever before. The position is open at this time, so normally I would bring a change like this to you during the summertime, but when the position came open, my team and I evaluated the job duties and how they had changed over time. We always look to, when a cabinet level or any kind of leadership position comes open, we always look at the job description just before we post it to see if it needs to be edited. And as we were editing, we just realized this is not a coordinator level position anymore. So that's why I'm asking for this change.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any
Now-
discussion?
Now, does other districts have a similar position?
They do.
Similar level?
Yes. I couldn't give you a list of which ones would have it as a director or a coordinator. There are some of both.
And this individual will be evaluating this position as a director, will be responsible for evaluating.
Yes.
Okay. The other nurses, yes.
And there's other schools our size?
Yes.
that has direct positions?
Yes.
Okay, let's vote. Okay, item 7, vote to approve or not approve the 2026 commencement exercises. Dr. Royals.
President Standridge, members of the board, and Dr. Cobb, you approved our commencement date to be held on May 21st, 2026, back on June 9th at the June 9th, 2025 board meeting. Since then, the Bennett Center has reached out and they have offered us a date that works better for us, and so we are asking for your approval for May 22nd. This way, we would not have to rush our end of the year program. We could do our end of the year program, our teachers could check out, and we would have graduation the next day.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
That's on Friday, isn't it? The new date's on Friday.
Yes.
Then we'll
Yes.
just-
Yes.
Okay, let's vote.
No tornado weather.
Please. Don't call it, don't call it.
Okay, item 8, vote to approve
Thank
or
you.
not approve
Say it last time, you said it.
embedded coaching and principal coaching at Soldier Creek Elementary. Ms. Brown.
Yes, President Sandridge, members of the board, Dr. Cobb, I'm requesting your approval for embedded PLC coaching and principal coaching at Soldier Creek Elementary for the rest of the year. They're using their side Title I money to do that.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Okay, let's vote.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, item 9, vote to approve or not approve school specialty LLC for furniture at Barnes Elementary. Mr. Wolf.
President Standridge, members of the board, and Dr. Cobb. This is part of the bond updates that we got earlier. They were talking about Barnes Elementary's safe room. This is to purchase the furniture for that safe room once it's completed. That completion date is looking at the end of January, 1st of February, so we'll get our furniture ordered.
Move to approve.
Second?
Okay, let's vote. Motion passes. Okay. Item 10, vote to approve or not approve GMP amendment number 23 to the Willowbrook Construction contract architectural engineer fees on Country Estates.
So we looked at the pictures and the renderings for Country Estates renovation, and this is I'm asking your approval for funding to go ahead and make that really happen. This is for Country Estates renovations, include the upgrades to the roof and all the interior of the building.
Move to approve.
Second. And I do
Any
have-
discussion?
Yeah.
Where are we at on the budget with this? Are we within budget or
We are on
going-
this project, yes.
Okay.
I know, just to say, President, whenever you do a change order, you look at the scope of and modification things that might come up. I also noticed that, and look at Country Estates, going through that, where there's stuff, they still have altars underneath there. The the ones in the first paragraph are all approved. These are alternates we're gonna come back with us later to approve. That would be another change order.
No, so the alternates that were presented there, when we put the project out for bid, we had a number of alternates in there, and that's to give us some ability that once we get the bids in, actually get a good idea of what the pricing is really going to be able to add additional features to that building, to that project based on the funding that's actually available. And so we were actually able to get most of the alternates. The couple that we decided not to do, some of those alternates were actually one or the other. So if we took one alternate, we wouldn't take another alternate. That's kind of where those came from.
And those funds are locked in at that point.
Yes, at this point, once we would approve it,
They'd be locked in.
there would be
Okay.
no need to take those other alternates.
Gotcha. Okay.
Anybody else? Let's vote. Motion passes. Item 11, vote to approve or not approve change order number 1 to the Willowbrook Construction contract for Midwest City High School Classroom Storm Shelter Addition.
Same question, so.
Okay, so, this is, so there was a GMP that was done for the Midwest City High School Classroom Edition, and all that pricing wasn't locked in. Once we got into the project, it was discovered that there are sanitary sewer lines that run underneath our current buildings. To actually service that neighborhood to the east of the school. The city won't allow us to maintain those lines under the existing building, certainly not under the new building. So that sanitary line has to be moved. So it's gonna be shifted south of the building. It also involves a change in elevation, which means that a lift station has to be put in place. We've looked at several different iterations of that design. We've decided to locate it away from our building, so if there's ever a problem, that it doesn't go in our building, because we don't want that in there. And we also don't want to locate it to where it would overflow into our neighbor's backyard, so it's actually going to be as far from any structure as we can get it. But that lift station, this is all required by the code. The city's requiring us to do this. So this is something that we can kind of make happen. We've got to put this lift station in, move that sewer line south of the building, so it's not underneath our structure.
Lift station, what is that again?
So,
Move to approve.
Second.
so the lift station, everything rolls downhill. And so we have to bring it up so it will run downhill. That's essentially what we're doing. It's just a big pump. That's all it does.
Oh, okay, so it's a physical.
Yep.
Okay.
Is the city gonna share in this cost, or?
So the city will pay for the operation of the lift station. They'll pay for there has to be a backup generator that runs that just in case they lose power, but they'll pay for the electricity running, they'll pay for the fuel for the generator, all that kind of stuff. But we have
But
to put it in.
to rerun the lines and put the lift in?
We don't do that, but it's under our, it's under our.
Is that
What's
more or
on
less
our building?
because we built on top of the line?
Pretty much, because we made the decision to do this construction, so we're responsible for moving the line.
Okay.
Okay, let's vote.
We really don't want that under our building anyway.
Approve.
Agree.
Yes, yes.
Okay, motion passes.
It's voted automatically for me.
You touched it.
I did
Good
not. I'm
grief.
telling you, I'm not.
I'm gonna watch it.
What's in it?
No.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, item 12, vote to approve or not approve to declare property as surplus. Mr. Wolf, continue.
So, I'm just gonna step here a while. Over at Del City High School, there are a couple of old cooling towers. We no longer use them. They're not connected to anything. They're not doing us any service. We just want to surplus those, get them off the property, and it'll just open up some, make these a little easier to move around, and make it look a lot better.
Move to approve?
Second.
So these are cooling towers?
Yes, sir.
Explain what is a cooling tower?
They were originally used as part of a HVAC system, but we no longer use that system. These are just kind of leftover.
Are they like cylinders that?
They're big
They're
squares.
big, they're actually, they're squares.
They're like metal boxes.
They're giant,
These would be on
giant
top of the
cubes.
building.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so there's one out here at Midwest City High School by the field house, and one at Del City High School by the field house, kind of on the
On the
football
side.
They're kind
stadium
of a big
side.
radiator.
It's huge. They're huge.
Okay.
That will
Okay.
actually open up a corridor at Delta City High School. It'll be, yeah.
Make things move around a little bit
Nice.
easier.
Yeah.
And it will look a lot better because they're
Yeah.
not particularly attractive.
No. So if this is auctioned off, does it go back to the fund that's paying for a lot of this anyway?
Goes into
Or-
our general fund, doesn't it?
Jacqueline?
I got y'all, I got you.
When we auction off the cooling towers or in the next item, any of the portable buildings, those just go into the general fund or they go into the building fund?
Okay, let's vote.
Did you see me?
Now you do.
Did
Now
you
I do.
see me?
I knew she'd be able to answer it right off the bat.
You didn't see me.
I just knew
know
Jackie
she
was gonna
has-
take care of the
I
money,
didn't-
so.
I wasn't
All right, and the next one, I'm gonna watch.
I'm
Someone
gonna,
in here. There's someone in here.
It's the mouse.
It could be.
I'm telling you.
Okay, item 13, vote to approve or not approve surplus property to be sold by auction or demolition.
So what we have here are a number of portable buildings or barracks located at various sites around the district. When we were doing the bond update earlier, they talked about some portables at Ridgecrest that are going to have, one of them is going to have to go away for the construction, and then we've got a couple more that will go away after the construction. That's some of these. We just want, if they're declared surplus now, then we've got the ability that when they need to go away, we can make them go away. We can just auction them right then. These won't necessarily be auctioned immediately, but we've just got the ability, you've given us the ability to get rid of them as needed. We have a number of portable buildings out behind Country Estates. They're actually kind of off the property over there behind the water treatment facility. Those are mostly empty at this point. There's a few things in there that we're relocating to other facilities. Those buildings are, it's just not a good area. As a matter of fact, just recently we had the power cut off to them because somebody was trying to steal copper out of it. So they pose as a serious security problem. We want to make those go away. So we're just trying to clean up some barracks that really aren't being used and get them off our property. I don't think anybody likes these things.
Now, and barracks don't really help or hurt curb appeal because they're mostly behind the buildings, but they certainly, getting rid of them will help with the backyard appeal because they're just, I mean, they're, yeah.
I need to have quite a few at Colorado Middle School. Are they still
Move to approve.
I'm sorry?
Colorado Middle School has
Second.
several barracks.
Yes.
Newer
Yes.
City Middle has a lot too.
Yes.
Middle school.
McCurry used to have a lot of McCurry, I say.
We've gotten rid of a couple at Midwest City. We got rid of a bunch at Carl Albert Middle School.
Yeah, they have tons.
The ones at Epperly aren't being used now. As we're finishing up that safe room project, now is the time to get rid of those while we've still got this construction going on.
No, that's great.
And they move them at their own expense. If I bid on one, I have to move it myself. Or I move it
So in the past, the district would relocate them and auction them from like the maintenance facility. It costs about $12,000 to move one. We've discovered it's a whole lot more cost effective for us to auction them at the site because we usually only get a few $100s for these. So we auction them at the site, and the person who buys it gets to, they get to pay that cost.
You guys all with the connectivity. You disconnect
We
everything.
disconnect
for them.
everything. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's vote.
I voted. I did that time.
Oh, good. I am so
She said,
glad.
I did.
She's been doing it all.
There's magic in here, guys. I'm just telling you.
It is
Motion
you. You're the
passes.
magic.
Okay, item 14, vote to approve or not approve our group to provide and install synthetic turf, foul,
What did you say?
item 14.
So this is to install synthetic turf at our softball fields. United Turf has done our baseball fields. They maintain all of our turf fields up to this point. This is actually a Sourcewell contract. If we have them do this, then all of our turf will be done by the same company. We'll have it maintained by the same company.
Too quick.
Great.
Move to approve.
second.
Okay, let's vote.
Thank you.
Okay, item 15, vote to approve or not approve the purchase of Campus CE Education Management Suite from SHI International. Ms. Foster.
Yes, President Standridge, board members, Dr. Cobb, we're asking your approval to purchase Campus CE Management System. This is for our adult career development evening and our workforce and economic development campuses.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Okay, let's vote. Motion passes. Vote to approve or not approve all actions recommended in the Human Resources Report. Ms. Houston.
President Standridge, members of the board, and Dr. Cobb, I think this is historically my shortest presentation in 4.5 years, so let's keep it that way. I have our normal recommendations to hire, accepting resignations, and all of the above.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, let's vote. Motion passes.
There you go.
You see what happened?
Okay, no new business.
Move to
Motion
adjourn.
adjourn.
Second.